And then find a comfortable seated position. We'll just stretch out our necks, our backs. You know how it goes. So anyways, so finding a nice comfortable seat, check in with your posture, check in with how you want your legs. If you want them cross-legged, if you want to be sitting on them, whatever works best. And then kind of lean back, unless you're straight up and down already, but lean back a little bit to find that straight up and down. Engage your core so that it holds you upright versus leaning forward and letting your back take over and get strength in the wrong area. So sort of lean back, engage the core, roll the shoulders back and down, finding that comfortable seated position. Push your chin back if it's needed to. Be in alignment. Of course, if you're already in perfect alignment, disregard. And we'll slowly start to close down our eyes and inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Inhaling through the nose. And on the next exhale, we'll lower the chin down towards the chest, and we'll bring the left ear towards the left shoulder. Inhale. And exhale, we'll rotate our chin down towards our chest and bring our right ear to our right shoulder. Nice and slow at first. If you want to pick up the pace, you can. Exhale, chin towards your chest. If you want to stay on one side, inhale, left ear to left shoulder. You absolutely can. I just recommend working with the breath. So continue to find that movement with the breath. Inhaling as you rise and exhaling as you fold to center. If you want to go a full 360, I would just really recommend doing it kind of like where your chin is guiding up versus the back of your head cranking down. So if you want to do that full 360, bring your chin up and then, ear to shoulder and then chin down. And that'll be a little bit less strain on the head and the neck. If you're doing a full 360, you can go the opposite direction. And then we'll all eventually meet on an exhale with our chins towards our chest. And then on an inhale, we'll lift our gaze back up. And then in a twisting fashion, we'll bring our gaze to the right. Our chin sort of over that shoulder. Again, shoulders are still rolling back and down. Finding a nice twist in the cervical spine. Inhale, holding it here. Exhale. Inhale, last breath here. And as you exhale, bring your gaze to center. Inhale. And exhale, bring your chin over your left shoulder. So still upright, just a nice twist here. Inhale. This one feels a lot more intense when you're laying down for a long time on your belly and you have one cheek on the mat. If you do that for maybe 5 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and then switch over to the other side, do it really slowly like we just did. And it's really nice to get the twist in the neck like that. And then on your next exhale, we'll bring our gaze to center. Inhale. Exhale, we'll slowly start to fold over our cross legs. You can bring your arms out in front of you. You can have them right
next to you. Think of bringing your seat bones still onto the mat so that you get a full stretch here.
If you can't come all the way down because you're bringing your seat bones back, that's totally fine because that just means you're getting a really nice stretch. You may feel the difference when you bring your sit bones back onto the mat in the lower back. Inhale, engage your core. Exhale. Inhale, pushing yourself up. And exhale, recrossing your legs if you're in crisscross applesauce. And we'll fold eventually, but we'll do a little bit of spine. So we'll do a little cat-cow, seated cat-cow. So we'll inhale as we bring the chest forward, roll the shoulders back, gaze slightly rises. Exhale as our chest comes concaved, shoulders forward, gaze lowers. Inhale into your cow. Exhale, cats. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale into your neutral spine. And exhale, we'll fold. Again, keeping those sit bones on the mat. You may feel one hip is tighter than the other. Maybe this is the tight side. This is definitely my left hip is tighter than my right hip. Inhale. Exhale. Still engaging your core, always protecting your back. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, pushing yourself back up into your seated position. And then bringing your hands behind you, bringing your feet onto the mat, and you'll have them about hip width apart. Your hands, you want to make sure to have a nice grip in your hands. And then you're going to press into your feet, and then you're going to lift your hips up towards the sky. You may need to come back down, readjust your hands. You want to make it so that your shoulders are over your wrists and your knees are over your ankles. So if you have to readjust, you can. Inhale here and exhale, lowering back down. Inhale, lift your right leg up, right foot. Maybe you have to straighten your left foot out a little bit for this, but place, and you can use your hands if you need to, place your right ankle on your left knee. Open up, push your right knee open, and then maybe you can step that left foot back in. Engage the foot, the right foot, make sure that's flexed. Maybe you stay here, maybe this is perfect, you don't need to go any further. Maybe you inhale, pressing into that foot, lifting up. You don't have to crank your neck all the way back. You can stay engaged here. If you start to cramp in your leg, you can definitely come back down and really think about pushing that right knee open. Inhale and exhale, lower down. Bringing your right foot back onto the mat, windshield wiper out the legs. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. We'll meet with our knees pointing to your left. And then with your right knee down, lift your left calf, foot on top, and then pressing the left leg out. You'll feel a different stretch on that right hip. Maybe you lean back if that feels nice. The outer hip here, really nice and open up. It's almost like a half, that's kind of a half hero's pose, a little sage pose. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, sitting back up if you're not already there, removing that left foot, and then bringing your knees back up to center. Now we'll get the other side. So again, you can straighten out that right leg if it's helpful. Lift your left foot up, place your left ankle just above the knee, and then opening up the left knee and bringing the right foot back to whatever is perfect for you. Flexing the left foot and then pressing in to the foot, lifting the hips up to the ceiling. Inhale here. Pressing your hips up. Exhale, only going as high as your body allows. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale as you lower down, bringing your left foot back down towards the mat. We'll windshield wiper out the knees. Inhaling and exhaling. Eventually, we're going to meet with our knees pointing towards the right. You can sit up slightly, grabbing onto your right foot, keeping it there, or placing it on top of your left knee, opening that right knee open, and then maybe you lean back a little bit. Again, you're going to feel this in the knee, in the outside of the hip, on the left side. So right now we're just targeting the left hip. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you sit back up, bringing the right foot back down to the ground, bringing the knees back up to the ceiling, and then finding where you can lay all the way back down on your mat. So making sure there's room behind you. And we'll slowly lay back down onto the mat. Now, we'll be doing a little bit of core here, but this is where I'm going to work out my lower back. So if you notice that there's some space right here, let's bring our back all the way down so that there's no space. And keep your pushing with your core down so you're rooted in your back. If at any point with our different exercises that we're going to be doing, your back starts to pop up and do sort of this number, come a little bit out of whatever it is, engage the core, press down, and that'll really work on that lower back strength. So finding that really strong rooting down. If you want to bring your hands underneath your butt just to kind of tilt your pelvis in such a way that you still maintain your back on the ground this whole time, absolutely, that works too. So whichever works for you. So if your hands are underneath your hips, that's great. If they're not, that's great. We'll slowly start to lift our feet up so that our knees are about hip width apart. Our calves are parallel with the ground. And maybe you kind of lift your knees up, reposition, find a good spot where your back, the lower back is completely flush with the mat, engage the core. We'll just stay here for a few moments and just feel that slow, small burn of the core pushing the back all the way down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So now we're going to stay like this with our knees bent. We're going to straighten one leg eventually. We're going to straighten it out long. But I want to emphasize, if at any point you're straightening it out long and your back starts to pop up off the mat, don't go that far. Re-engage your back onto the mat, and we'll re-attack from there. So bringing your back onto the mat, we'll eventually slowly bring our right leg just a little forward, engaging the core. Inhale, bringing it back, knees together. Left leg comes forward, and it comes back in. If you're able to, bring it all the way to straight while keeping your back on the mat. That's great. If you're not able to,
that's fine. Switching your legs and just moving with your own breath and your own pace. Maybe you have to take it even slower, and that's perfect. You can start to hear my voice start to wane a little bit as I'm really engaging my core right now, to keep my back really rooted onto the mat. Beautiful. We'll end up with our knees together and we'll stop the motion. And now, again, we're gonna, if what we're exercising next brings our back off the mat, we'll stop and not go any further. So with our knees together, about hip width apart, we'll slowly bring both of them out. Again, if you reach that point where your back starts to pop up, bring them back in and don't go past that point. So again, moving with your own breath, really engaging the core and just finding a little bit of movement, a little bit of strength in the lower back. If at all this is pinching or hurts, you can go back to whatever doesn't hurt. Remembering to breathe, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. The next time you bring your knees back in, find stillness there. And then we'll straighten the legs out towards the ceiling. Again, making sure your back stays flush with the mat. We'll do something similar. We're going to slowly lower that right leg down. You can point your toes like a Barbie foot. Bringing it back down. What that means is your toes are pointed, your foot is pointed, toes are flexed. So just alternating your feet. I'm hitting something, so that's fine. Maybe I couldn't go lower than that anyways. And really finding that engagement of keeping your back on the mat. When you're even on both sides, we'll find stillness with our feet towards the ceiling. And then you know what's coming next. Only lower as far as you can, and we'll lower both legs. Inhale. Exhale. You see, I can't go that far. Maybe you can go farther. Awesome. But whatever it is, you're keeping your back on the mat. That's the only thing that's really important here. That's my back clicking, by the way, if you can hear it. I don't know why it's done doing that. It's been doing that for about 20 years. Eventually, we'll find stillness with our legs pointing towards the ceiling. We'll hold on to that right leg, letting the left foot come down towards the mat. Keeping a nice grip on that right leg. You can kind of relax a little bit, but still engaging the core enough. If you have a strap or a piece of shirt or something like that, you could always bring that strap around that right foot, or just holding onto the thigh or the calf, or maybe doing a yogi toe lock. But just know that if you're coming all the way up to do a yogi toe lock, you're kind of defeating the purpose. So just a very passive grip. Your left leg can come out straight, or it can just stay up on the mat. So we'll do a little bit of stretching here. So kind of release a little bit, catch your breath just slightly. We'll inhale and exhale. Keeping both hips on the mat, we'll exhale, bringing our right foot to the right. Again, try not to lift up. I don't know what happened. That was really weird. Bringing your foot back up. And then you'll bring your foot just slightly to the left, but again, keeping both hips on the mat. Not sure why that happened. Okay, sorry about that. I thought my video went away. So again, keeping both hips on the mat, your leg is just slightly to the left. This is getting a nice IT band stretch here. And then if there's room on your left, you can maybe scooch to the right. Now you can lift the right hip up, bringing the foot all the way down to the mat, trying to keep your right shoulder still on the mat, and then your gaze can go towards the right. Nice little twist here. Maybe you're just holding onto your thigh, and that's perfect. Inhale. Exhale. Try to modulate the breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe you twist a little deeper. One more breath like that. Inhale. Exhale, twist. And inhale, bending the right knee, bringing it back towards your chest, removing the strap if it's there. Left knee comes into the chest. Maybe you just grab onto your feet, finding a nice little happy baby, a little bit of restoration and balance before we get to the other side. Letting go of the feet, bringing the right foot back down onto the mat. If you're using a strap, absolutely use your strap. You can straighten your left leg out, holding onto your strap, or holding onto your thigh, your calf, or maybe a yogi toe lock. And then just finding a few breaths here. Inhale. You can have a slight bend in the knee. I meant to mention that before. I apologize for not. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And if there's room to the left of you, bringing your left foot slightly to the left, keeping both hips still on the mat. Try to keep that right hip from peeling up. You can raise the left foot a little bit to keep that from happening. And it's still totally fine to just grab onto the thigh. It's totally cool. You can kind of counterbalance with your right knee a little bit open. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, bringing your leg back up to the ceiling. Again, keeping both hips onto the mat and bringing your left foot just to the right so that you get a nice IT band stretch. And for me, it's about 6 inches of movement. The IT band is pretty tight and it shouldn't be too loose. So it's just a nice easy stretch here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bring your left foot all the way to the right. Your left hip can totally lift here. Keeping your left shoulder on the mat. Gaze can go to the left. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, twist. One more like that. Deep inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale, bringing your knee in towards your chest. Right knee follows. Threading your hands between your knees, grabbing onto the outsides of the feet. Again, finding a nice little happy baby. Maybe now you want to find a little bit of movement. Maybe you want to straighten a little bit, one leg and then the other. Or maybe you want to think about bringing your knees really close to your armpits like you're in double lizard. Lizard is a really deep hip stretch. Keeping your tailbone close to the mat. not flying it too high, and that'll keep more of an integrity in your hip stretch here. Inhale. Exhale, finding stillness, bringing your feet together, and then using the strength of your core, coming up into a comfortable seated position. But then we'll go ahead and find ourselves on our hands and knees. Our hands are underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath our hips. Perfect. And we'll do just a little bit of cat-cow here. We'll inhale, bring our gaze slightly up, chest forward, shoulders roll back, pelvis tilt. Exhale into our cat, gaze goes slightly down, pelvis tilts the opposite direction, chest is up and lifted. Inhale into our cow. Exhale, cat. Keep moving with your own breath. If you want, you can find space between your hands and your knees, and you can do a few little figure eights where you move in one direction and then the other, moving through the breath. I'm doing right hip to right wrist, left hip to left hip, left hip, left leg, right hip, right leg. Usually my knees start popping and doing fun things. There's one of them. Next time you find yourself in child's pose, you can move the opposite direction. Left to left, right to right, right to right back, left to left back. Just as long as it feels good and it moves the spine. That's the thing you want to do. You want to move the spine. You want to move all the little tiny muscles that keep the spine in and out of alignment. Next time you find yourself in child's pose, stay there. Inhale here in child's pose. Exhale. Inhale, coming back up onto hands and knees. Maybe you have to reposition your hands and knees a little bit. And exhale, we'll go ahead and lift our left leg like a dog on a fire hydrant with our knee elevated. And then we'll straighten the leg out, place it onto the mat or the floor. And then we'll come back into another child's pose. So just a modified child's pose, really opening up the leg, opening up the hip, getting ready for a big stretch. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, coming up and forward. You can bend that left knee, bringing back to dog on a fire hydrant, and then bringing the knee back down. Readjusting your body is necessary to find that solid, strong foundation. And then lifting the right knee up, dog on a fire hydrant, straightening the right leg out, placing it down on the floor, and then pushing back here, opening up the right side. Inhale. Exhale, opening up that right leg, that right foot. Find a little bit of stretch in the left knee, left foot. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as you slowly pull yourself back to hands on the mat. And then bending your right knee, coming into that fire hydrant again, lowering that right knee back down on the mat. You can give your hips a little swish out. And then finding stillness here, we'll go ahead and
bring our right knee into our chest. You can kind of bring your body into more of a cat pose here as you engage your core. And then it comes all the way through and your foot is between your hands. Tuck the toes of the left foot, straighten the left leg. You're in a nice little lunge now. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, maybe you bring your left hand a little closer in, bringing your right hand on the right knee. Left shoulder comes closer to the knee, finding a twist looking towards the sky. Maybe your right arm follows. Inhale. Find strength in the core, strength in the hips. Exhale. Inhale. Try and see if you can lower your hips a little bit. And exhale, you can bring your hand back down. Inhale here. You can keep your right hand to the right of the foot. You can come onto the inside, whichever works the best. It might feel safer to have your hand on the inside than the outside. But we'll slowly start to bring our left shoulder back and then our stretch on the other side. Inhale. Exhale. You can always bring your heel down if you want. Inhale, may feel like a different stretch on the hips. Exhale. And then slowly lifting that heel up if it's down, bringing that left hand back down. And then we'll slowly start to walk the right foot to the left side of the mat, lowering the right knee down, and then finding our nice pigeon pose here. Staying upright in our pigeon, bringing our hands into a cupcake hand, looking at the back leg, making sure it's not sickling out one side or the other, just going straight back. And then we'll do a few little touch and goes before we come down. So really just opening up the chest here, finding strength in the core, strength in the hips. This is really helpful when you're holding your split. Inhale, exhale, forehead maybe kisses the ground, pushing yourself back up. Inhale, exhale, we lower, 2 more like this. Inhale, pushing yourself back up. Exhale, last one. Lowering, forehead kisses the mat, pushing yourself back up. And now we'll lower all the way down to whatever is comfortable for your pigeon pose. Maybe you come down to your elbows. Maybe you have a pillow that you want to put underneath your chest here. Whatever works. Finding your comfortable pigeon pose. We'll be here for 4 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I think that was breath number 4. We'll slowly start to push ourselves up on the inhale. And then slowly, we'll start to tuck the toes of the left foot, lift the left knee, straighten it out, finding our strength in our hands as we bring our right knee in towards our chest. And then we'll push our right leg back into a 3-legged dog with the right leg lifted. Inhale here. Exhale, lowering that right leg back down onto the mat, finding your first downward facing dog. So you can bend your knees a little bit. You can bring your chest closer to your thighs if you want, finding a nice stretch in the shoulders. Whatever works really nice. We'll take a few moments here in downward dog. Shh, quiet. My little baby missed me. And she wouldn't shut up. Hi.
So bending your knees, maybe bringing your chest towards the top of your thighs. We'll exhale, finding stillness here. Inhale, we'll bring our left knee in towards our chest, and then placing it down into a lunge. Inhale here. Exhale, placing the right hand onto the mat, finding whatever distance from the foot feels more stable. Bringing that right hip forward to match the left. Again, just trying to find strength in that hip. Bring the right shoulder kind of close in. Gaze comes to the ceiling. Left hand on the left knee. And then maybe inhale, finding a little balance here in your twist with your left hand towards the sky. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, lowering the left hand down. And now the left hand can stay on the outside. Maybe move to the inside if that's a little bit safer. The right heel can come down, so your foot is at a 90-degree angle, whichever works best for you. And then your right shoulder is going to come up to make alignment so that your shoulders are sort of perpendicular with the mat. Gaze goes towards the ceiling, and then maybe you lift your arm up all the way towards the ceiling. Inhale. Exhale, finding strength in the hips, strength in the core. Inhale. Get off, get off, get off. Exhale. Throwing your cats around because they're being annoying and cute. And then exhale, lowering that hand back down, lifting the heel if it's lifted. And then we'll scooch that left foot all the way to the right, lower that knee down. Looking back at our right leg, making sure it's nice and straight back, finding what you need for your pigeon prep, and engaging that foot, making sure that foot is flexed. And then bringing your hands into cupcake arms, finding strength in the core, strength in the hips, holding yourself up right here. Inhale. Exhale, we lower. Forehead kisses the mat and comes back up. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, we rise. And now we'll lower all the way down, finding our pigeon prep. So maybe this side is a little bit tighter than the other side, or maybe it's a little looser. So whatever you need. We'll be here for 4 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And so we'll start to bring, on the next inhale, our hands back onto the mat, tucking the toes of the right foot, lifting the right knee, and then with our hands nice, strong, rooted on the mat, engage the core, bring the left knee in towards the chest, and then slowly rotate back, left leg lifted, 3-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, lower it down, downward facing dog. Inhale. Maybe again, you move your knees, move your hips, whatever you want. Maybe you find stillness. Maybe you go through a vinyasa flow. We'll be here for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Looking forward, we bring our right knee into our chest and then step that right foot down. Lowering the left knee, untucking the left toes. If you have blocks, great time to use them is now. So we can do a little bit of twisting here with a little bit of a piriformis stretch. So we can come up slightly or stay down onto the mat, cupcake arms. So whichever works best, but if you can come up slightly, it looks like we can, that is great. Maybe you can come up all the way, placing your hands on your hips. Maybe you can bring your reach to the slightly to the right, maybe cupcake arms. Maybe you can bring your left hand up and overhead. Inhale. Maybe you can just stay right here, and that's fine. Exhale, getting a nice deep stretch in that left hip flexor here, and that left piriformis. Inhale. And exhale. Coming up and out of that stretch. Grabbing the blocks or just placing your hands down into sort of a cupcake hand. We'll slowly start to move back, straightening out the right leg. And then flexing that foot or finding a little Barbie foot. And nice fold here. Check in with your hips. See if your right hip is trying to track forward or track back. Bring them together. You can have a slight bend in the right knee, no big deal. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale as you slowly come forward, bringing a nice bend to the right knee. And now really pushing your hips down. Maybe you bring your left leg a little bit further back, finding a really deep stretch in the front of that hip flexor on the left. Inhale. Exhale, sitting up straight and strong. And inhale, you slowly start to bend that, straighten that foot again. And so maybe you stay here in your half splits. Maybe if you have this is not a towel, but a towel. One technique is you can just put your right heel on a towel, and it's very slippy. Blocks are helpful. And you come all the way down into a split, or like I'm going to show now, a modified split. With yoga splits, your hips are together, shoulders are strong, and you can either fold into that split, or you can bring your arms up and overhead, Hanumanasana, split pose. Mine is modified with a block. So finding whatever pose you want, again, engaging the core, and even if you're folding, engaging the core in the fold. Inhale. And exhale. So whatever fun split pose you're in, we'll slowly work ourselves out of it. That's the hardest part, to scooch out of that split pose. Moving the blocks if they were there. And then placing your hands on the mat on the either side of the right foot, tucking the left foot, lifting the left knee, and then we'll bring the left foot forward, meeting the right foot, finding a nice forward fold. Inhale. Maybe you kind of bring your butt a little bit further back, find a little bit of a toe rise, finding a deeper, nice bend in the knees, finding a nice deep lower back stretch here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back on the mat, stepping your right leg back this time. Inhale. Exhale, lowering the right knee down into the mat in a lunge. Untucking the right foot. Now we'll get the left side. So coming up again, first getting a little piriformis stretch. So again, maybe you stay here and that's perfect. Really lowering the hips down. Maybe you come all the way up onto your knee. Maybe you come up onto the hips. If you have a block, that's so much nicer. You can have it on the left side of your body. as you get a nice stretch. Or maybe you're able to bring your left hand down onto the mat. It's a little easier to go further, in front of you, and then slowly work it beside you, pushing your hips down and forward. And then maybe you're able to bring your right arm up and overhead. Again, deep piriformis stretch. Whatever works best for you. It's a deep stretch on the right side, inner portion of the hip. Hard to get to, and it really gets shortened after sitting for a long, long time. And slouching. Helo slouch. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bringing the arm back up. Hands on the knees if they're able to. And then coming down, placing the hands on the mat. Finding blocks if you can, or not, using little cupcake arms, straightening out the left leg. Finding a nice distance between, you can move your leg as you saw mine. You still want to have your right leg kind of perpendicular with the mat, but this will give you a little bit more of a stretch depending on your own flexibility of your left hamstring. Nice bend in the knee if necessary, keeping the left foot flexed and fold. Inhale. Exhale. I like the blocks for stability. You can see my arms are still bent. That's okay. I just like them. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, slowly rise up. Exhale, bending the left knee, coming forward. Again, finding a nice, really deep stretch of that the hip flexor, couldn't say it, our right hip flexor, really bringing our hips down. Maybe your legs are a little bit further apart this way, not wider, but lengthwise. And so you're really able to get a really deep stretch on that hip flexor here. It's really hard to do for pilots, getting hip flexor stretch. You could always come back a little bit as well. That might really open up that hip flexor. But be very slow because it might hurt. Inhale here. And exhale, bringing your hands back down onto the mat. Again, you can use a little towel. This is not a towel, it's a little baby sock. Onto my little floor, placing your heel down, or just going into your half splits with the left leg straight. And on this side, I won't use blocks, just to show that you can do hips together, legs out long, core engaged, arms open and overhead, Hanumanasana, split pose, or forward fold. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale, bringing your hands down if they're lifted. Slowly bringing that left leg back between your hands. Stepping that right foot, tucking the right toes, lifting the right knee. And then we will slowly step the right foot forward. Finding a nice forward fold here. And just really relaxing in the fold. Inhale. Off my neck. Exhale. Inhale. And then we'll slowly bend the knees, bringing the butt down to the mat. And then moving your cats off. We'll make sure there's nothing behind us. Grabbing onto our knees, and we'll give us a nice little roll. You can grab onto the underside of your knees and just give yourselves a few rolls. A nice massage of the back. Maybe just enjoying it and having a little bit of fun. And then from here, we'll take shoulder stand. If you want to do it from a roll, you absolutely can. Just make sure you don't move your neck once you're in shoulder stand. So I can talk you through it. So a little momentum is good, but basically Just finding a little bit of shoulder engagement, pushing into your shoulders, not moving your neck, grabbing onto your hips, and make sure your chin isn't buried into your chest. Your hips don't have to be that high. They can if you want. And then you just point your toes towards the ceiling. A nice gentle inversion. So if that works for you, great. If it doesn't, you could always just lay on your mat and bring your legs up towards the ceiling. Inhale here. Exhale, maybe you want to take plow, which is bringing your legs all the way behind you, or candlestick, where your knees are at your ears. Whatever we're doing, we'll just come slowly out of it. So bringing your, coming down one vertebrae at a time. You can really hold onto your hips here. Slowly lowering. And then bringing your knees into your chest. Giving yourself a nice squeeze here. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, grabbing onto the right knee and letting the left leg go out long. And exhale, bringing your right leg across to the left. Right shoulder stays on the mat, gaze is to the right. Arms can go up like a T or in cactus arms, whatever works best for you. And we'll start to slow down the movement, slow down the breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Slowly the right knee comes into your chest. Squeezing the right knee in. Left knee follows, giving the left knee a squeeze. Putting onto the left knee with both hands, straightening out the right leg. Left knee starts to drape across to the right. Left shoulder stays down on the mat. Gaze to the left. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Inhale. Exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale as your left knee comes into your chest. Right knee follows. Giving yourself a little hug. A little squeeze. And then maybe you can even bring your forehead all the way up to your knees. Really engaging that same area. We're really pressing into the mat with our backs. Inhale here, squeeze, and exhale, release it all, finding your Shavasana. Letting go of the breath. Letting go of the thoughts. Your legs can come out long, your arms can come out long. If you'd rather take cobbler's pose, you can. Or maybe legs up the wall if you're able to. And we'll stay here for a few moments, not regulating our breath and just letting our thoughts and our breath go into that autonomic section of the brain. Slowly start to invite movement with a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Inhale, start to circle the wrists and the ankles. Exhale, bringing your arms up and overhead. Inhale, stretching from fingertips to toe tips. Exhale out the mouth, side out. One more like that. Inhale, stretching from fingertips to toe tips overhead. Exhale, side out. Inhale, bending the knees. Rolling over to your left or right side. Resting your arm on your bicep. Resting your head on your lower bicep. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale, slowly pushing yourself up, finding your comfortable seated position. Bringing your hands to heart center. Eyes are closed or at a soft gaze. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Namaste. Thank you so much for coming.